So who actually uses picture profile on your run and gun setup? Let's talk about it. Hello Epic people, Mike here, and today I'm going to be sharing my custom picture profile for my run and gun setup. And those of you who are impatient and probably going to be skipping to the actual settings, I'll just show it to you right here so you guys don't have to skip around. And those of you who have more time or curious about why I set it up this way, please stick around. I'll probably make it super quick, I promise. Quickly going over the settings, I didn't really change much. For A7IV, PP6 is the Cine 2 picture profile. And in there, I actually only changed color mode to movie, and I brought down the detail to -4. And depending on the situation, I also bring down the saturation by 3 or 4. So when it comes to run and gun shooting, there are two important factors for me. One being it has to be very easy to shoot. And second, it shouldn't require so much in post-processing. So basically, whatever I shoot, it has to be ready in post. So those are the two things that I had in mind when I set up this picture profile. So why did I set to Cine 2? The main reason is that Cine 2 is basically what you see is what you get picture profile. So it's probably the most broadcast ready. And when it combines to color mode movie, which is also already the colors are already there, so you don't really have to make any color adjustments. So with two of those combination, it's basically a setup where what you see is what you get, kind of a picture profile. And on post-processing, for me, I think Cine 2 requires a little bit more contrast, even though without it, it looks fine. So for me, in post-processing, I just bring down the shadow or sometimes give a little bit more contrast to the image. And just another little tip, if you guys are trying to use this picture profile, when you're using color mode movie, it already has all the colors in it. So when you add a little bit of a contrast, in my case, it has a little bit too much saturation. That's why I brought the saturation down to the picture profile so I don't have to do any adjustment in post. And that's basically it when it comes to post-processing. And a lot of people might ask, why don't you just use PP off if you're just running and gunning it? And there's a few reasons why I don't use PP off. And one of the #1 reason is that compared to PP off, Cine 2 actually has more dynamic range. Yes, if you want to talk about dynamic range, S-Log3 has the most, but I'm also considering that two factors that I talked in the beginning of this video. And another important thing is that for Cine 2, the highlight actually clips at 100. So if you set to zebra at 100, that's where it actually clips. So if you see zebra marks, that means there's no information there. But for PP off, the zebra goes up to 109. So you can actually expose it to 109, but in post, because it goes over 100, you have to actually bring down your highlight in order to recover that dynamic range on that top highlight. So that's another step that I have to go through if I want to use PP off. And I think PP off is a little bit too contrasty in my taste, where PP2, I think it requires a little bit more contrast, but I actually have that room for me to actually adjust it. So I think that's one of the main reasons why I use Cine 2 over PP off. And a lot of people might ask me, why don't you use HLG? Because HLG, the hybrid log gamma, is meant for HDR footage, and shooting and everything is easy, but sometimes depending on what editing program that you're using, the post-processing might be a little bit confusing or not so smooth, because sometimes if you bring it in, it looks way overexposed, or sometimes, you know, the colors are weird. So I didn't want to deal with that. That's why I'm sticking with Cine 2. And one of the main reasons that I shoot picture profile on run and gun setup is because I want to actually utilize the camera, because this camera can do so much more, and just shooting PP off, I don't think it's a smart idea, because with a little bit of a tweak or a little bit of adjustment in picture profile, you can get so much more than just PP off. So yeah. And those of you who are planning on trying this, just a little bit of an information. On A7 IV, the base ISO for the Cine 2 picture profile is 64 and ISO 250. And you can set to Zebra 200. And for me, I usually expose, so the exposure meter shows plus 0.3. But it's basically self-explanatory. It's basically what you see is what you get. So hopefully it won't give you that much of a headache to shoot. So please try out the picture profile and let me know how it is in the comment down below. And that's it for me today. Hopefully you guys liked my video. If it did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you guys want to see more camera related content in the future, please subscribe. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.